Speaking of the Texas Rangers, our good friend Joel Sherman, in one of his columns in the New York Post, had an interesting element, little blurb, if you will, that people around the game, outside officials, think that the Rangers would be players in the Ohtani market if Ohtani was made available for trade. Now, Anthony, I'm not sure that Ohtani's going to be made available for trade because the Angels are playing better. They are in the playoff mix. You can't trade him right now.
Yeah, I don't want to step on anybody's clickbait because there's a lot of that out there right now.
By the way,
including
to a division rival.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that is then you're hurting that division rival in years forward if they're just
That's also
emptying
true.
the cachet of prospects. But they've won 6 of 8. They're 4 games back of wild card spot. They traded for Mike Moustakas. They traded for Eduardo Escobar. You think they're all of a sudden going to say, never mind.
Yeah.
They got Mike Trout coming back in September. So I just think they're going to keep him and take their chances.
And listen, ownership when they unveiled the All-Star logo, because the All-Star game will be held in Arlington next year, ownership said, look, we're going to make everything in our power so that Bruce Bochy is managing the American League All-Star game for the American League next season, which obviously if that happens, it's because he's either won the World Series or they've made it to the World Series, Bill Ripken.
Is there something else in their power they could do? I just don't see Ohtani moving. The haul that they would have to get back for a short-term rental, because I don't think Texas is in the mix for locking him up long-term. I just don't. So I'm ruling Texas out on that side of it. Not saying he's not going to move somewhere, but I just can't see it. They're 4 games back. You're with the Angels. You're trying to make this push. You got the best player in the game right now on your team. How do you move that?
And the Angels would be asking for Jack Leiter.
I was just going to say, we've had this conversation forever. Are we even late to this conversation with Ohtani?
I just feel like at the end of the day, the owner runs the ship, and if he doesn't want to trade him, he's not going anywhere. And I agree with you. Is it a Max Scherzer, Trey Turner package that you have to get back? And who's got the ability to do that? I feel like Juan Soto, that was the template last year. I was sitting there last night kind of going through it. I think the Cubs make a monster run at him in the offseason. I think it makes a ton of sense with Seiya Suzuki, him being that franchise player.
Yeah.
Spring training still in Arizona because he likes the West Coast. I think they could be in.
Well, the interesting thing is that Soto, of course, wasn't a rental.
No.
Shohei is theoretically,
straight rental.
for all intents and purposes, a rental.